Hello, my dear students. Today's lesson is about the sine rule, the cosine rule, and the area of a triangle. These three topics are connected. Most probably you can find them in one question in paper 4 IGCSE. When do we use the sine rule and cosine rule? When there is no right angle. Because if there is a right angle, we can use Pythagoras theorem or we can use SOHCAHTOA. But whenever there is no right angle, so there is another solution, which is the sine rule or the cosine rule. According to the givens, there is no choice. According to the givens, you can use the sine rule. You will go to the sine rule to use it where there is, which is the only choice to use, only option. And also the cosine rule. When do we use the cosine rule? If given three sides. If three sides are given, you can simply find the measure of any angle you wish. Or if given two sides and an included angle, you can find the opposite side to the given included angle. What about the sine rule? Sine rule, in other cases, we use it. Let's see with examples. But first of all, we have to know what about the 6 given items in the triangle. This is angle A, the red one, and the red side opposite to it, we call it small letter A. And the blue angle B, the side opposite to it, this blue one, we call it small letter B. And this green angle C, the side opposite to it, the green side, we call it small letter C. The sine rule states dash equals dash equals dash. Side over sine equals side over sine equals side over sine. Again, side over sine equals side over sine equals side over sine. It means the length of this red side divided by the size of its angle is equal to the length of the blue side divided by the size of the opposite angle is equal to the length of the green side over the sine of the opposite angle. So side over sine equals side over sine equals side over sine. You can flip the whole proportion if you wish, like sine over side. Sine over side equals sine over side. Any method you would like, it does not differ because simply you will need to use cross multiplication to find a missing item. So usually we will deal with two equal ratios having 3 given information and 1 unknown. It could be a side, it could be an angle. Now let's go to an example for the sine rule and we see how to use it. This question 6. It's about using the sine rule. Let's read. In triangle ABC, AB equals 6 centimeters, BC equals 13 centimeters, and angle ACE equals 23 degrees. Calculate the angle BAC, which is obtuse. This word is very important. Take care, the sine rule is deceitful. What does it mean? Whenever you find an angle, I told you in the previous video about the sine curves that this calculator is cute. It only calculates the acute angles. And if you need to find its supplement angle, which is the obtuse one, remember about the sine curve we took in the previous videos. So now, where is the unknown? I need to write a question mark on it. BAC, the letter in the middle, which is letter A, is the angle. Okay, so this angle, we need it. It's the red one related to this red side. And this blue angle is related to this blue side. As we said before, dash equals dash, and then cross multiplication. Dash equals dash. We say side over sine, the red one, over sine, the red angle. We can simply write that angle A because there are only 3 letters in the triangle, so no confusion. equal side over sine, the blue ones, 23. As I told you before, we will take only 4 items, and one of them is unknown, which is the angle A. Let's say side over sine equals side over sine. The red side over sine, the red angle, equals the blue side over sine, the blue angle. And we simply make fraction equals fraction, then cross multiplication. So now let's write it is 6 sine A, or simply we took it before that sine A equals a long dash divided by the number connected to the unknown, which is 6. And here in the numerator, it is 13 sine 23. You have to expect that sine and angle should be 0 point something. Okay? Because sine, any angle in the world, should be less than 1. Okay, now click on the calculator, 13 sine 23 divided by the number connected to the unknown, which is 6. You will get it 0.8466. Please write it as 4 decimal places because these 4 marks are distributed among your working steps. 0.8466. Actually, I wrote it, but it has more details. I cut it. So you have to click sign, shift sign, answer equal. So angle, I need to be accurate. This angle I find is the acute angle BAC. Acute angle A equals the angle whose sine inverse 0.8466. You click on the calculator, keep it on your display, shift, sign, answer equal. As we expected, the angle should be 100%. It will be acute. So if you write the acute angle on the dotted line of the answer line, you will lose 1 mark because he needs an angle which is an obtuse angle. It is 57.8, 1 decimal place, but the obtuse angle A is 180 minus this acute, 180 minus this acute. We said it before, 180 minus 57.8. And you write on the answer line 80 minus answer. You click answer, please. It will be 122.2. 122.2. Take care of the word obtuse. And this is a trick in the question, but we are always paying attention. How to check your work? You can click sign answer equal. You will find that this value, which is 0.8466. This is how to find an angle using the sine rule. We have another question of how to find a side length using a sine rule. This one, question number 9. He didn't describe anything, but all information are shown clearly. You have 3 angles given, and you have only one side length. And he needs the side. If it is 2 letters, then it's a side, of course. He needs the side PR. I used to put a question mark on the side, and this red side is related to this red angle. It's opposite to it. And this side is related to which angle? 66. So ignore about the 77, and you simply write dash equals dash, and then cross multiplication. Now dash equals dash. What shall I write? Side over sine. You want to start with the red one? Okay. PR over sine, the red angle, which is 37, opposite to PR, equals side over sine, the blue ones, side which is 12.5, over sine, 66. And now fraction equals fraction, then cross multiplication. Here PR equals a long dash divided by the number connected to the unknown. The number connected to the unknown, which is sine 66. And what shall we write up? It is 12.5 into sine 37. On the calculator, you use the fraction button and you write up 12.5 sine 37, close bracket, and go down and write sine 66, close bracket. Everything is okay on the display? Yes, equal sign. We're done. Why this question is worth 3 marks, 8.23. It should be 3 significant figures because it's a side. Okay? And usually he writes the units of measuring in centimeter, he writes it on the answer line. So we finished all possible cases about using the sine rule. Now let's go to the cosine rule and when to use it. The cosine rule, we use it if given 3 sides. If 3 sides are given, use this rule. This rule is to find an angle. Find an angle. Any angle you wish. Okay? And the other case to use it, if given 2 sides and included angle. 2 sides and included angle. It should be included. In this case, you will find a side. Now let's apply everything in this diagram. As usual, if this angle is named A, the red one, the side opposite to it is small letter A. If this blue angle is B, and the side opposite to it is B. If this green angle, the green one is C, and the opposite side, we name it small letter C, and we need to find this side, for example. Suppose that this side is unknown, so he has to give me 2 sides and included angle. 2 sides and included angle. Watch me. 2 sides and included angle are given. Again, 2 sides and included angle are given. Now I'll highlight them. If given this side and that side and this angle, so you simply say a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus twice bc cosine a. Again, a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus twice bc cosine a. You are only dealing with this side, and at the end, you write multiply by cosine the included angle. Okay? It should be power 2, power 2, power 2, big 2. Here plus and minus. Again, power 2, power 2, power 2, big 2. Here plus, then minus. And all of them, you start as if it's a Pythagoras theorem. But it's not Pythagoras, no right angles. A squared equals b squared plus c squared. The start of the cosine rule looks like Pythagoras. Then minus twice the side into cosine the included angle. Remember, after you finish, you just click square root to find the side A, which is unknown. This is a case. The other case, if 3 sides are given and we need to find an angle. If 3 sides are given and we need to find an angle, the title or subject of the formula will be cosine this angle. Remember, it's the cosine rule. Don't use the function sine. Okay? It is the cosine rule. It should include the function cosine. So if you need to find this angle, you will start your rule writing cosine A. Cosine A equals a long fraction dash. And you start to deal with the 2 arms forming the angle, which is B and C. The same rule is rearranged from the upper rule and we get the rule. It is just rearranging, okay, to make this cosine A subject of the formula. Some students memorize only one rule and they rearrange it in exam, but I don't prefer that. Please memorize both of them and they are really convincing. They are logic, both of them. Okay, cosine this angle equals the 2 arms forming the angle. You start with them and end with the side which is the far away from the angle, the opposite to it. Cosine A equals b squared plus c squared minus a squared. All this in numerator. Cosine A equals b squared plus c squared minus a squared. What is in denominator? You are dealing with the 2 highlighted arms of the angle over twice bc. It will give you 0 point something or negative 0 point something. If it is positive, the angle is acute. If it is negative, the angle will be obtuse. If it is 0, the angle is right angle, of course. So now the same song, which is power 2, power 2, power 2, big 2, here plus, then minus. Let's now search for a question in the past papers exams. This is my workbook, my trigonometry workbook. And we need to use the cosine. This question number 8, there is no diagram given, but it is described. Don't use imagination, please. You need to draw it. Okay? Here I have 3 sides. I'll write the lengths 2, 8, and 9. So this is the shortest one is 2 centimeters. This one is 8 centimeters. And this one is 9 centimeters with no label. No problem. A triangle has sides of lengths 2 centimeters, 8, and 9 centimeters. Calculate the value of the largest angle in the triangle. There is an information which is very important. The largest angle is opposite to the longest side. Say it again after me. The largest angle is opposite to the longest side. If 9 is the longest side, then you need to find the largest angle which is opposite to it. You can name it X, you can name it theta, whatever you wish. Now let's write the rule. First of all, you have to highlight the 2 arms forming the angle. Please highlight the 2 arms forming the angle. Why? What's our title to find an angle? It's cosine rule. Yes. Why do we use cosine rule? If 3 sides are given, we use cosine rule to find an angle. If 3 sides are given. So now your title will be cosine theta equals a long fraction dash. The 2 arms forming the angle are 2 squared plus 8 squared minus the far one, which is the opposite one to the angle, minus 9 squared, over twice the 2 highlighted sides. That's it. It's always worth 4 marks. Cosine rule, it's worth 4 marks, but sine rule, only 3 marks. It should be 0 point something. It could be positive, then it's acute. It could be negative, then it's obtuse. Cosine rule is not deceitful like the sine rule. Use the fraction button and write 2 squared plus 8 squared minus 9 squared in the numerator, and then denominator divided by 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 8. It will be negative 13 over 32. Better to write it as a fraction instead of rounding it, because fraction is exact. Say it, fraction is exact. So now, in order to find the angle theta, you simply write on your answer shift cosine answer equal. Shift cosine answer equal. It will be an obtuse angle. Cosine inverse negative 13 over 32. The angle will be 130. Take care of rounding. It will be 113.969. We said before that the angle should be 1 decimal place. It's a rule, okay? How to cut it? You cut 0.9, so it will be 114.0. Okay? The angle should be given as 1 decimal place. Now, this is an example of how did we apply the cosine rule for finding an angle if 3 sides are given. Now, there is another case. If 2 sides are given with an included angle, we need to find a side length.